As you can probably discern from my profile picture, I'm a Knicks fan. And if you've been keeping up with the Knicks, you know that right now, things are pretty good for us. There isn't too much for us to be upset about, aside from some injuries, but if there's one thing that has consistently been able to infuriate me, it's our matchups with the Magic. Now, the Magic aren't a bad team, and their record does tell the story of a young squad that has found an identity behind Paolo and Franz Wagner and a core of gritty defensive guards. But whenever we play them, we end up losing. And I go on Instagram and see an Orlando Magic victory reel over that stupid song and something inside of me snaps. Going back to their core of gritty guards, it adds an additional layer of pain to the loss because the Magic have been supporters of New York players for a while. One example is them drafting Mo Bamba, a Harlem legend who managed to get a hit single named after him in high school. Or Kyle O'Quinn, who they also drafted back in 2012 and who would ironically go on to become a Knick himself. However, one of the main guards on this squad and the subject of this video is Cole Anthony, Malloy legend, PSA Cardinal, UNC Hooper, and a guy who's been a dog all his career. Let's talk about the perception of the New York Hooper for a bit, particularly as it pertains to professional basketball, because I'm a believer that basketball needs New York and New Jersey. I'd venture to say that New York and New Jersey produce the most dogs and swaggiest hoopers in terms of strictly on-court game. Now, of course, there are more aspects to being a professional basketball player aside from having a tough handle and a deep offensive bag, but if we're going strictly off hoopers with the most swag to their game, New York and New Jersey low diff the rest of the country. Let's talk about a common rule you know if you play basketball in any way, shape, or form in New York or New Jersey. The and one rule. If you shoot the ball and you get fouled and say and one, that is not a foul call. Understand, this can be the most wicked, vicious, bone-shattering, clear-cut foul you have ever seen. If you say and one and not foul, you are not getting that ball back. I draw attention to this rule because it embodies the type of basketball that we play and gives an insight into the types of players that these environments would breed. We have the entirety of Jelly Fam with specific attention to Hudson Catholic legend Javon Quinterly and Roselle Catholic GOAT Naz Reid, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, and of course the Lincoln legend Mr. Born Ready, Lance Stevenson. While the league may be in a sort of lull in terms of housing superstar talent from New York, they still do have a heavy presence in the league with guys like Kyle Anderson, Jonathan Isaac, and Jose Alvarado carving out roles in the league based on their defense and contributions to winning. All this grit comes from playing in the affectionately named concrete jungle, in hyper-aggressive environments where the only way you can find success is by embodying that grit and really having that dog in you. Cole Anthony has that dog in him too, and ever since he was in high school at Malloy, the entire country knew about him. Cole played the majority of his high school basketball at Archbishop Malloy in Queens, and while he was there, he became the first freshman to start at point guard for the school, along with leading them to a CHSAA AA finals during his sophomore year. In his final year at Malloy, his junior year, he averaged 23.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 4.1 assists while being named to the CHSAA AA first team and the USA Today All-USA third team. All of those accolades that I listed are literally just the surface of all Cole did while at Malloy. And I didn't even begin to mention his time with the PSA Cardinals, where he garnered more accolades including a Defensive Player of the Year in 2017 after leading the EYBL in steals, and the MVP after averaging 26.9 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Time out. Are you hearing all the accolades I just read off to you? This is all stuff that he did in his first 3 years of high school, and I'm still not covering everything. He was really the truth in high school. But all these accolades pale in comparison to his most meaningful accolade to me and all other high schoolers at the time. He got an overtime challenge video. Let me tell you something about the 2018 overtime challenge videos, man. They were putting on for the culture. Getting an overtime challenge video with Overtime Larry in 2018 was damn near the equivalent of getting a Drake feature. Only a select few got that overtime challenge video, and Cole was one of them. After achieving all of these accolades in his first 3 years of high school and AAU, due to the relative lack of exposure and competition in New York City basketball, Anthony transferred to basketball powerhouse Oak Hill for his final year. And again, Cole made history, averaging 18.5 points, 10.2 assists, and 10.2 rebounds, becoming the first player in school history to average a triple-double. For context, Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, and Michael Beasley all went to Oak Hill, and Cole was still the first to average a triple-double. Are you tired of hearing Cole Anthony accolades yet? Too bad. He was also the MVP of the McDonald's All-American Game, the Nike Hoop Summit, and the Jordan Brand Classic, on top of being the 2018-19 Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year. To be honest, with all these accolades, I really don't see the point in talking about a scouting report, but the gist is that all of the reports were saying his weaknesses were poor shot selection, needing to tighten up on his turnovers, and making more of an effort to pass the ball to his teammates. I know I've said it a lot on this channel, that this guy was ham or him dunking, but I mean it with all of my being that in high school, Cole Anthony was one of the most serious hoopers to ever come out of New York. He could jump out the gym, shoot the three ball and the mid-range off the dribble, and to top it all off, he took pride in defense as a top-ranked player. He had that dog in him. After finishing up his incredible career at Oak Hill, Cole ended up committing to UNC, and this is where questions began to arise about his game. Despite the fact that he was incredible in high school and proved that he was able to shoot the ball efficiently, once he arrived at UNC and had to be a point guard at a higher level, questions about Anthony's efficiency and playmaking were somewhat exposed. During his lone season, Anthony led the team in scoring at 18.5 points per game. However, he wasn't efficient at all, only shooting 38% from the field and 34% from three. On top of this, while he did average 4 assists per game, he also averaged 3.5 turnovers, revealing that there may have been some truth to the rumors of him being a questionable passer. All of this was made worse by the fact that UNC was uncharacteristically bad in his freshman season, going 14-19 overall and going 6-14 in ACC play, being beaten by Syracuse in the second round of the ACC tournament before having the rest of the season canceled due to the pandemic. Anthony also had to have surgery for a partially torn meniscus, which caused him to miss 11 games and hurt his draft stock, and really captures how bad this season was, or how poor this season would be for anyone that didn't have that dog in him. Cole was named to the third team All-ACC and All-ACC freshman team even after missing those 11 games. He had the second highest scoring average for a freshman in UNC history. On top of this, in his first game at UNC, Cole scored 34 points against Notre Dame, a record for most points in a debut by a freshman. And he displayed his ability to shoot the three ball off the catch and off the dribble, along with utilizing his athleticism to consistently beat his man off the dribble for tough floaters. What we saw from Cole during this game was a microcosm of what made his season so questionable in the eyes of NBA scouts, as he did finish with 34 points, however he took some difficult shots in the process, and had 5 assists to go along with 4 turnovers. This was all the result of being the clear best player on a team where you have the ball in your hands a majority of the time and make a majority of the plays. Despite the questions about his shot selection and his ability as a passer, Anthony was still selected 15th by Orlando in the 2020 draft, joining an elite class of guards that included LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, and a bunch of other superstar talent. As a rookie for the Magic, Anthony began the season as a backup for Markelle Fultz, and in those games he wasn't great, only averaging 8.6 points on 30% shooting from the field and a horrific 19% from three. And this rough start began to validate the concerns surrounding Anthony's ability as a lead guard. However, after Markelle Fultz went down with a season-ending ACL injury, Cole started cooking. This injury bumped him into the starting lineup, where his scoring and efficiency took a huge jump, going from the sorry 8.6 points on 30% from the field and 19% from 3 to 14.1 points on 41% from the field and 38% from 3. Once Markelle went down, Cole maximized his opportunity as a starter and proved that he did have the scoring capabilities that we saw in college, and also took this chance to give us one of the best interview moments of all time.
And at the end of the Minnesota game, you said, "Let the ball come to me because I know I'm going to make it." Was that the same feeling tonight, Cole?
Yeah.
A true New Yorker and a dog, Cole followed this strong end to his rookie season with the best season thus far in his young career, in 21-22, where he averaged 16.3 points, 5.7 assists, and 5.4 rebounds on 39% shooting from the field and 33% from three, leading the team in scoring and in assists. Now, this wasn't necessarily the biggest deal as the Magic were atrocious, only winning 22 games, and his efficiency wasn't the best, but he did come into himself more as a scorer this year. He shot 36% on open catch and shoot threes, up from 32% his rookie year. However, his percentage on pull-up threes dropped drastically, and all of his percentages on shooting off the dribble suffered a significant drop-off. This is likely due to Anthony being forced to play a more significant role in the offense, starting 65 games in place of Markelle, and subsequently having to deal with tougher defenders and a more sophisticated scout due to him being a full-time starter. However, Anthony's 22-23 season...
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
While Cole did average more points in 21-22, for me personally, 22-23 was his best season to date. To be honest, I had to do a double take when I pulled up the stats. Cole averaged 13 points on 45% shooting from the field and 36% from 3. On top of this, he cut his turnovers down from 2.6 a game to 1.5 and shot 38% on pull-ups, along with significantly cutting down on his multi-dribble 3-point pull-up attempts, which drastically raised his percentages from the previous seasons. This improvement subsequently caused Cole to be considered as a Sixth Man of the Year contender, and served to silence the critics who questioned his efficiency and shooting ability as a player in the league. This season, Cole has continued to ball out, and as of the writing of this video, he's averaging 13.4 points on 43.3% from the field, and while his 3-point percentage is down, only shooting 32.5%, if his previous seasons are any indicator, he's sure to get back on track in the near future. It's really interesting to see the way Cole's career and role has evolved from the time that he was in high school to where he is now. Going from being him in high school to having a questionable single season in college and now carving out a role as a Sixth Man of the Year candidate is really a testament to his dedication and improvement, especially as it relates to his efficiency in shooting. And it's undoubtedly due to his relentless work in the gym on his jumper and decision making that he's been able to make such strides in his young career. But I guess that's just the eloquent way of saying he got that dog in him. Until next time.